Hi, welcome to class. My name is Don Lafond, Professor Don, and this is our very first meeting for Cisco 1 CET2600. I'm glad you're here. If you are watching this after our meeting, then you must know that watching the video is very helpful because it'll give you information about what we covered in class, but it does not count for attendance. In this video, I am going to just briefly introduce myself, and I will review the syllabus. At that point, I'll stop the presentation, and I'll go ahead and open up our classroom, review the classroom, and teach you about Cisco Chapter 1 of NetAcad. So just a little bit about myself. I am retired military, spent 20 years in the Navy working on computers. I was a fire control technician. And I worked mainly on the hardware. I didn't do any software. So even to this day, I'm not really a programmer. I understand the basic concepts of programming, and I must learn more about programming in the networking environment because that's going to become more and more prevalent as we move forward. But that's where I learned how to work on computers, and it's also where I learned that I love teaching. The last 5 years I was in the Navy. I was an instructor. And I taught combat systems readiness. So when ships were going out to sea, I would go on board with the team and we would teach the ship how to fight along with the battle group, Army, Marines, occasionally Air Force. So my degree program includes a master's degree in business administration and my MBA. I also took all of the computer classes that were available to me when I was working on my master's degree. So I also have a master's in information systems management, computer information systems management. That's the degree that allows me to initially teach these classes. And I'm glad I did because nobody hires a master's in business unless you have extensive business experience or you have a doctorate in business. And I don't have either one of those. So I do have business. I have taught business classes before, all the way up to the 4,000 level. That was many years ago. In the last 5 to 7 years, I've really focused on computer classes and specifically on these networking classes I've taught for 4 or 5 years. I wish I had more experience in networking in the real world. Cheryl Smith is an awesome teacher here at the school. She's been in networking as long as I've been in the work world. She started in networking back in the year, I won't tell you what year, but it's when I entered the Navy, okay? So that'll give you an idea how long she's been doing this. She helped build the Deerwood Center and many of the other campuses, at least the networking part. She didn't put bricks on bricks. She helped with the network loadout. Anyways, I took her as a teacher to teach me Cisco, and I loved her. I thought she was fantastic. And if I ever get an opportunity to take another class by her, I will. I recommend you guys take her as an instructor for your. Well, you have to take her as a Cisco 3 instructor because she's the only one that teaches that course, at least for now. When she retires someday, I'm going to take her job. And I'll teach it. But for now, she's hanging on to that class, okay? So I worked on a doctorate degree for about 10 years, and I actually ran out of time. It is possible to run out of time when you're working on your doctorate degree. So if you ever get to that point, make sure you finish on time, do whatever it takes, because I have $50,000 invested into a doctorate program where I am only ABD. I can't be called doctor, even though I did everything but the dissertation. So I'm a lifelong student. I've been a student for my entire life. I've always taken classes. I have hundreds of credits. I may even take classes this semester, but I took it off so far, at least the first part, so I can take care of my certifications, earn some certifications. Speaking about being a lifelong student, that's why I think I'm an awesome teacher. I understand where you're coming from. Although we have rules in this class, like due dates, for example, I do accept late work, and I'll tell you about that later when I cover the syllabus. I guess that's about all I wanted to say. I've been teaching at the college level since I retired from the Navy in 2001. I've been teaching now at Fscj for 20 years. I'm full-time faculty at St. John's River State College. That's my other job. But right now, this semester, because of COVID, I am teaching at home for all of, I'm teaching 8 classes this semester, 9 at the end. I have another class that's the second half semester. So I'll have 9 classes this semester. All of them are online. I don't mind that. I miss meeting you in person, being able to work with you on real equipment, but I'm pretty good at helping you in an online environment. So my goal is to make or help you be successful in this class. I want all of you to pass. And if you do all the work, you'll get an A in this class pretty much, assuming that you pass all the exams. There's about 40 to 60% is my A ratio in this class, and you will pass this class if you do all the work. Later in the semester, some students fall behind. It's normal, it's natural. If that happens to you, talk to me. I will accept your work late, and the lowest grade you will ever earn on an assignment due to late policy, the biggest penalty I ever take for late work is 30%. So even if you did everything in the second half of this semester, I don't recommend it, but even if you did, you could still get a C in this class, no problem. Again, I'll get to that when I cover the syllabus, but let's do that now. I'm going to go ahead and open the syllabus. And to do that, I am going to share my screen. And let me get to the right class first before I do. Here you are. The screen. I'm going to share my screen so you can see it. Sharing this. All right, great. You should see my screen now. And all right, so now you should see our NetAcad classroom. Now, actually, I actually should have taken us to our Fscj class. Most of you have been there already. Obviously, you found me. So I'm going to take you there only to show you that some of our assignments for this class are in the Fscj classroom, but only the introductory assignments. Once we get past the introductory assignments, we do not return to our, we do not return to our Cisco 1 Canvas class until just after midterm when you have a proctored, it's online, an online proctored midterm. It's required by the department. I can't waive that for any reason. But here is our syllabus. Here are the preliminary assignments, and most of you took care of that. You have to complete a student contract, and this student contract is critical for you to understand what my expectations for the course is. So I expect you to open the syllabus and read these elements, and then under the contract, I want you. It's all important, but I want you to understand that Packet Tracer. When you open Packet Tracer, you will see a box will open, and it will ask you for your name and your email address. I want you or require you to put your name and email address in that box, those boxes. If you don't, if you leave it guessed, then there's no way for me to know if you just downloaded the completed packet tracers that are on free ccnalab.com or danscourses.com. On those 2 websites and probably other places on the internet, if every single one of the packet tracer and labs that you're going to do in the class, they're all on those websites. And for all the packet tracers, it says guest. So if you give me a packet tracer that says guest, when I specifically tell you that you must sign into packet tracer every time you do a packet tracer assignment, then then all I can assume is that you took it offline, and I'll just require you to do it again. Okay. If you forget the first week or 2 for one of the assignments, I'll just take off 10% and send it back to you. But after about week 3, after week 2, after the third module and on, I then send it back to you and require you to redo the assignment. So That wasn't the case the whole time I've taught this class. When I first started teaching, I was fine with accepting late work, but then a student completed at the beginning of the semester, at the second week of the semester, they completed the entire course. They submitted every single lab, all 79 of them, or whatever the number is. They submitted the entire course by the end of the second week. And they were all with guest as the sign-in and password. And I wrote back and I said, you have to redo all of these because you didn't sign in. And the student says, oh, no, I don't want to redo all those. That was a lot of hard work. And I did it when I had time. And now I don't have time to do it again. And I said, well, you got to do it again. Just take your time over the semester then and do it with everybody else. And that student dropped my class. So I guarantee that student took them all off for free CCNA or Dan's courses thinking they could get an easy A in this class. And he ruined it for everybody, or he at least made me aware that those packet tracers are online. It doesn't really help you to go look at the packet tracers. Occasionally, you might want to look at the PDFs. Please don't just copy the PDFs. The answers for all of these, the questions that are asked in the PDFs, don't just copy those word for word. It's okay to go look. And I did when I was a student. If I didn't understand something, or I wanted to verify something that I wasn't quite sure of, I opened up a couple of those PDFs. You know, we're all human, and with students, if the answer's out there and I can't figure out how to even approach the question to be able to give it an answer, looking at the PDF that's complete, it's not a big deal. But please do not just give me the PDFs with all the text the same, because guess what? I'm grading 23 of you in a row, and if there's 2 of you with the exact same answers, it's going to be obvious that somebody is cheating, and I'm going to open up the package. I have the answers too. I have the answer keys myself, and I'll just open up the answer key and look at your answers and see if it's the same as the answer key. So you don't want to, and they shouldn't be word for word, right? There's no way that it could be. When it asks you your opinion of something, it should not be word for word with what the answer key says. That just makes sense. You've learned that before now, right? So don't plagiarize. But occasionally, if you look because you want to see what they're even talking about, sure, go ahead. It's fine. Just don't take all the other answers from there. Then go back to doing it on your own. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so that explains this. And by all you have to do for this, as an assignment, all you have to do is say, looks like there's at least one student that still needs it. And I don't need to show you this, but all you need to do, can I go back? No. All you need to do is exactly what it says. It says that you need to indicate that you've reviewed the syllabus and that you agree to all the terms listed in the contract. And one of the elements is that you will sign in to packet tracers, so you can't whine too much later that you didn't know. Okay. All right. That's the contract. Very important aspect with packet tracers that I just explained there. You also have to, once you register for Cisco, and not everybody's registered for Cisco, not everybody's in the class yet, and that's okay, but you need to go to this link. Now, one student sent me a message, Pena, P-E-N-A, Pena, sent me a message saying that he didn't have access yet. Well, that's because the student joined the class late. If you joined the class late and you did not get an email with your NetAcad credentials, talk to me after when I'm not recording, okay? And I'll help you to get into NetAcad. But the rest of you should be able to find your invitation inside your Fscj email. And if it isn't in your Fscj email, it'll be in your in the spam folder in your Fscj. That's where it always is. I sent it to everybody that was registered as of Sunday night probably. So you should have that invitation. Here, all you have to do is reply to this message and say, here it is, I am ready. I have successfully accessed the course and I am ready to begin the training. And I want you to put both in there. Don't just say, yep, I'm on NetAcad. I want you to tell me that you're ready to start working. This is a demanding course, and you're going to be required to work right from the beginning every week, 4 to 6 hours. Some weeks have 10 assignments to do in a single week. It's a heavy-duty course. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of your time. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you that spiel right now. There are classes that are wonderful and easy and you love to take because they're simple and you get over with them fast. I used to teach a course back in the 80s called Introduction to the Internet. Everybody got an A in that class. It was a fun class. And it covered a lot of things that you don't even know about now because we don't use it, like Gopher, for example. You probably don't remember Gopher because it isn't something we talk about anymore. But it was like a pre-networking class, not even the intro to networking. It was before that. We talked all things about the network. Well, anyways, if you finish that class and you get an A, you can't run out and get a job based on that class. It's not going to give you a job. You're going to be better at using a computer and the internet. You're going to have a good underlying understanding of networking and how to use the internet for good searches and stuff like that. But you are not going to get a job from it. This class by itself is probably not going to get you a job unless you go on and you do some self-study, like at least one student in this class did, and you pass your CCNA exam on your own. You're not going to be able to get a job just with one Cisco class under your belt. But once you take Cisco 1, Cisco 2, and possibly Cisco 3, if that's in your degree or you just want to take it, then you will be ready to be successful taking the CCNA exam. That CCNA exam all by itself will get you a job making $40,000 to $60,000 a year. If you apply to the right company, right now there's a demand, at least there was pre-COVID. I'm not sure exactly what the demand is right now, but it proves that you know how to use networking equipment, routers and switches, and the peripherals that are connected to those switches and routers. So basically, you can walk into an intro to networking job, which pays about $40,000 to $60,000. Once you've been working in the field for a while, you can easily make $100,000. Once you specialize in something like IP phones, for example, your pay will be more like $110,000, or you'll be a network administrator once you get your CCNP CCNP certification. We're talking about 110 grand. So there's a reason why this course is challenging. Now, I don't use this course as a gateway course. I don't stop you from learning or make it challenging for you to learn in order to keep you out of this wonderful field that some of you are going to make a very good living in. I am an enabler. I want you to be successful, and I'm going to work with you to make sure that you are successful in this course. My first Cisco teacher, he controlled the knowledge, and he was a horrible Cisco teacher, and he treated students awful. And his goal was to drop the people enrolled in his class from 100% to 50% by the end of the semester. That's what I believe, and that's what I actually saw. That was not Cheryl Smith. I changed from that program with that teacher to Cheryl Smith, who taught me everything. The beginning of what I know about Cisco, and she was fantastic. So I learned I'm already a good teacher and I already work with students, but I learned from her that it's okay to help the students. It's okay to work with the students. It's important to ensure you guys are getting the concepts and you're moving through. It's important to get those concepts, not hold back the information, but get the concepts, because you're going to take those concepts and you are going to build on it, not just the rest of this course, but Cisco 2 builds on what you learn in Cisco 1. Cisco 3 builds on what you learn in Cisco 2. And then all of your advanced courses, whether they're in IP phones or if they're in security, network security, all of that all builds on what you learn in the CCNP 3 class program. So it's really important that you review the material, you understand the concepts, you do the assignments yourself, and as you move through the course, you will learn this material and you'll be setting yourself up for success when you get out to the workforce. Okay? So that's why we use NetAcad, and you have to tell me you're registered and you are online with NetAcad. I had that requirement is because I had one student, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago, that was 3 or 4 years ago now, I guess, that sent me a message halfway through the semester saying, I still don't see any work in our class. That student was not looking in NetAcad, never registered for NetAcad, and was just looking in the Canvas classroom expecting to learn the material from this classroom. And there's nothing in this classroom. So I make it very clear now that you have to go to NetAcad. Then that's it. Those 2 assignments, I give you. The information assignment is inside of NetAcad. Is it? No, that's here. This information assignment, I see 16. Let's see, how many of you have done it already? 19 of you have done it already. That's awesome. All you have to do is open up this file, fill it out, and submit it here in this class. And this file is basic information about you, and it helps me to understand who my student is. And it's important to understand who you are to be able to help you when when you get stuck on something. And it is pretty self-explanatory. Your name, what you want to be called, describe yourself. This isn't I'm 220 pounds, I need to lose about 20 pounds. This is, kind of what you're into. Like I'm into EDM and heavy metal. I don't know how that's possible, but I am. What your degree program is, how far along. Where do you live? Somebody answered Florida earlier. Okay, USA. How about the world? I'm looking for the area of Florida, and that might be because maybe somebody has a problem with transportation, and maybe not so much in this class, but in a traditional class, maybe I could help put a couple students together for transport for commuting purposes. Let's see, work, that's where you work now, if any place. Just say student if that's all you are, and in the future, where do you want to be? Family and pets, share something here. Computer knowledge, I know all of you think you're 9s and 10s, but I'll give you an explanation of what a 10 is. A 10 is a person that works for Google already, and they're only getting their degree here because Google requires it for them to advance. They require a bachelor's degree to advance to a management position, and that's what they want to do. They program in several different languages, and last year in 2020, they sold one app that sold made both $1 million in the Android platform and $1 million in the iPhone platform. And again, they only work because they want to, not because they have to, because they've got about $1 million in the bank after taxes. They can work with any app, no matter what it is. They understand just about anything they touch. Their family and friends call them to get help. And that is the computer knowledge aspect. Networking knowledge, if you have your CCNA already, then you are on track to have an expert networking knowledge. If you based your networking knowledge on the fact that you put together a home router and you took the hardware class and you learned a little bit about networking in there and you feel like you know about networking, then you're about a 3 on that scale. Networking means you not only build a 10 in that block would be I have professionally set up business networks for medium to large companies, including multiple routers, multiple switches, and interfaces that interface with them with OSPF and EIGRP, and that would be an example of a network knowledge of a 10. Contact info, this is because I want a phone number that's your real phone number, because Fscj doesn't give me your number anymore. And every now and then I'll have a student at the end of the semester that does not finish one assignment. Like they don't take the final assessment, the ITN networking practical assessment, and they have a 62 in the class. And if they just took that test, they could pass the class and never have to take the course again. And I'll take the time to call students that are like that. I won't call you if you have a 5 average. I have a student that sent me an email today, believe it or not, today, that said, last semester you failed me, but I did a lot of work. And I went in and there was no work done by the student. I said, well, you did none of the NetLab work. Not NetLab, MyLab work for Pearson MyLab. Did none of the network. That would be like asking me to pass you in this course without doing the 60 or so packet tracer and NetLab. No, you have to do. You only did the 2 or 3 assignments in Canvas. No, you're not going to pass this class. So please put a real phone number here. I've never emailed anybody, but if you want to give me a real email there, just in case. And I do require a picture. I know a bunch of you are shy nerds that are socially inept and you don't want to give me your picture, but I do want a picture from you so I know who you are, so I can put a face to the people that I'm interacting with. I don't require you to open up your webcams during my presentations because it's really up to you to learn this material. I'd like you to at the beginning of our presentations, but then when I'm talking, I really need you to not have your webcam open because you might actually take over the screen accidentally. But I do want a picture of you in that student information sheet. And so it's actually 25% of the grade that you'll get there. And I'll take, and that's it. All right, so that's all that is under this Fscj classroom. But the reason I came here was to get the syllabus because I want to review that now. And I'll make it bigger so you can see it better. Some of this stuff I already covered, but we're going to do it again. All right. So this is a hybrid class. It's live online. We meet once a week for 4 hours. We won't be here for 4 hours. We'll be here for 2 to 3 hours every week. Maybe shorter a couple times, but normally my presentations are about an hour and 15 minutes, and some weeks we have multiple chapters. There's, I think, 16 modules in this course. And we only have 16 modules. There's more than 16 modules. I forget how many there are, but we'll get here. I can show you what that is. There are, here we go. There's 17 modules, and we only have 16 weeks. And one of those weeks is spring break, my favorite week of the semester, and probably yours also. And but some weeks we're covering 2 different chapters. So each time you see 2 chapters, you can assume that we're going to be together for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes for each one of those. Other weeks where there's only one, it doesn't mean it's only going to be an hour long, but it could be. You can always assume the presentations for an hour. The presentations each week we're going to be for an hour and a half to 2.5 hours based on what we're covering that week. Now, those videos, I will record my presentations and put my recordings inside of our classroom, so you'll be able to see those. It's a new NetAcad classroom. You guys haven't seen the old one yet, but it's a new NetAcad classroom, and I'll actually put links to all of my previous videos in there. For those of you that are working ahead, you can look at some of my presentations from last semester if you want. That stops some students from getting all stressed out about, I missed the class and I want that video now, and it takes me a day or 2 to get it to you. You can always look at last semester's video. It's the same thing. I guess I get better as I go, but it's pretty much the same thing. So that is the schedule and how long we'll be together each week. I tell you right in this opening paragraph that there's, how many assignments are there? I tell you in this, 4 to 6 hours. It's good for you because you'll make $100 grand once you get out there and you know what you're doing. I've been teaching for 20 years at the college level, and I just broke 50,000 in my pay. I think I'm at 50,600 without adjunct work. That's why I teach here also. I'm jealous. If you can get your CCNA exam after 3 classes and you can get a job making 50 grand, your first job making 50 grand, it makes me want to go get a real job and not teach anymore. But I love this, and I don't want a real job. I like what I do right now. Let's see. You can contact me on my cell phone. I give you the phone there. You can contact me on my cell phone between 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. No need to contact me at 2 a.m. because you're all stressed out. I'm also a full-time realtor. I have my license, and I have had students. I've sold some homes to students in the past, but I've had some clients that have called me at 2 o'clock in the morning, all stressed out about something. Wait till the morning, and I help those clients because I was getting commissions on those. But in this class is nothing critical that you can't wait until the morning after 9 o'clock to reach out to me, okay? So please, let's restrict that to 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. I'm always on at 9 a.m. because I have to do office hours at St. John's River. So Monday through Friday, you can always reach me at 9 a.m. And in the evening, I just got an awesome Oculus 2 set. I'm living in the VR world. In fact, as soon as this class is over, I'm going to jump into a VR game shooting zombies of all things, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. Some of you maybe we'll befriend and we'll play some games online. But so after this class, if you call or text, I'll be online playing, so I won't even see your call. But leave a message, please leave a message. Let's see. If you have to reach me, always use the NetAcad inbox. Once you're in the class, once you're in NetAcad, I go into NetAcad every day, almost every day, Monday through Friday. Occasionally I forget, but always Monday through Friday. I grade your work on Fridays in the morning because your work is due on Thursdays at 6 p.m. I don't grade work until the due date to cut down on cheating. So I always grade work on Friday morning and into the weekend. You can, but I rarely go into my email, my Fscj email, but I'm always in Canvas. I'm always in NetAcad. Now, that's not true on the weekends. I have a life too, guys. So if you send me an email on Friday at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., and I don't answer your email until Monday morning, please do not hold that against me. Occasionally, I go into the classroom, but my work week is really Monday through Friday. And like most people in the world, I don't have to go in on Saturday and Sunday, but sometimes I do because maybe I didn't grade everything on Friday, so I'll go in on the weekend, I'll see your email. But please do not be upset if any of your teachers take a day or two off every week. And the 2 days I pick is Saturday and Sunday, like a normal person would. I only say that because somebody put down on their evaluation that they sent me an email on Friday. I didn't answer until Monday. And it's like, yeah, that's right. And I told my boss that, and he said, yeah, there's no problem there. But I'd rather not. I'd rather you know that upfront that I don't always respond. It's even in my syllabus that it'll take me up to 48 hours to respond if you send me an email over the weekend. It is a 3-credit class. We have all 15 weeks. You have prereqs. You know that already. You would have been in here. These are the concepts that we're going to cover, all sorts of stuff about networking. We are done with this class, I think on the 29th. It's the last Thursday in this window. The period of time, here I'll show you. The period of time between the 29th and May 4th is where you can continue to submit late work, but there's nothing due in that window of time. The last time for you had to submit due work that's due, and that's your final assessment, is the 29th of April. If you have late work, I will continue to accept it with penalty until the 4th, the official end of this semester. Where is that? Here it is, May 4th. We have Martin Luther King Jr. off Monday. That means nothing to this class. President's Day, February 15th, unless that's a Thursday. That should also be a Monday. February 15th is a Monday. It means nothing to this class. If you decide you want to drop this class and you don't want to pay for it, you need to do so before January 19th. If you stay in the class and you just get overwhelmed or you get COVID or whatever, you can drop before March 25th, and you'll get a W, which is always better than an F on your transcript. I got COVID last semester. It was horrible. I got COVID last semester and I had to drop the course, and I did it before March 25th. I didn't want an F on my transcript. Especially being a teacher, that doesn't look very good. Let's see, everything's in NetAcad. There's no textbook, but when we get to NetAcad, I am going to show you where the content is. It's really important for you to review the content in NetAcad each and every week, in addition to attending my presentation. There's no books, but there are 3 that I recommend. You don't... If you are studying, I'll put this in the classroom, especially if somebody asks for it. For this class, I recommend this book. It is the CCNA 200 to 301 Portable Command Guide, if you can see that. That book is recommended because it has all of the commands. So when you're working on an assignment and you get stuck, that's an awesome book to be able to open up. I also recommend that you go, if you're Amazon people, go online and set up a camel to find this book on discount. This is the I'm showing you the wrong one. This is the CCNA 200 to 301 Volume 1 textbook, and it's put out by Cisco, and it's geared to help you pass the CCNA exam. I love camel because I didn't want to pay full price for it, so I just picked one of the lower price ranges, and it popped up after a couple of weeks, and I bought that book for, I don't remember how much it was. I'm not even going to tell you. It seems to me it was under $30. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. The next one is CCNA 200 300 Volume 2, and this takes you to the next level. And when you finish all 3 of these books, you are ready to take that CCNA exam. So those books aren't textbooks per se for this class. Those books are important for you to study for your CCNA if you plan on it. And there's nothing wrong with having those books as you go through these courses so that you can highlight and go a little bit further in depth in the actual review book as you're learning the content for this course, okay? But there's no required books. We use NetAcad solely for this course, nothing else other than, of course, NetLab and Packet Tracer, which is all included in that. If you, let's see, again, NetAcad, but if you have accessibility issues, like you have difficulty with your site, unfortunately, the NetAcad course is not ADA compliant, so you're going to have challenges with that. Reach out to your counselor at the Services for Disabilities and find out what they recommend for you. Maybe the school has some resources for you. Learning communities. I'll show you this inside of our classroom when we get there, but I really want you to ask questions, especially technical questions, inside of our help discussion forums. You have 23 other students that are working with you, getting through this course. You and your fellow students are struggling with these assignments week by week. I took this course now 4 or 5 years ago, and sure, I remember the packet tracers and I understand the concepts of the course, but if you tell me on step 5 I'm having a problem figuring out how to apply an IP address to the interface, I'm going to be like, I wonder what that is. I have the answer keys, so I can look at the command structures, but ultimately your best bet is to always ask questions in the help discussion forum. Your fellow students are doing it with you. They're going to run into the same problems you have. There may be problems with the assignment. NetAcad updates these assignments on a regular basis. When they just decide something is inadequate, they just replace it. They don't tell me about it. So they may replace it with an assignment with different instructions, or maybe it doesn't work. Like there's just one packet tracer that they messed up a couple of the IP addresses that they give you. They have them switched. And so when students ran into that problem, they were able to actually help each other out because one student took the time to try different IP addresses and he got it to work, and then shared those that information with his fellow students, which was fantastic because then I added his notes to the actual packet, the packet tracer itself. The questions about the course and policies, that is for, like, Don, what's your late policy, or something's not showing up in the class and you're expecting it to, like I forgot to load a PowerPoint, or the PowerPoint isn't loading. Something that's wrong with the course itself, or a question about the course, that goes into questions about the course and policies. Honest to God, this week I had a student send me a message in my CGS 1100 course, and that course said, "I can't get into MindTap. Help." That's what he sent me. And I replied back, "What's the problem you're having?" And he said, "It's just not working." And I was like, "What's not working? Give us as much information as you can about the problem that you're having, because sending me an email saying it's not working or I can't figure it out doesn't help unless you tell me what you can't figure out." That happened this week, and it was really frustrating. I kept asking the student, "What's not working?" Asking the help discussion forum. Then he asked me another question that didn't go anywhere. Responded with information that didn't help me figure out what his problem was. Then he said, "I figured it out." So to this moment, I actually don't know what was not working for him because he never shared that with me. So give us as much information as you can when you ask a question in this should say module help discussion forums. I've used this same syllabus now for many semesters and I never noticed that. Unless I find other problems, I'm not gonna share it. I'm not gonna change out the syllabus, but this will fix it for the next time I teach the course. A tech notebook. Okay, so the tech notebook is an important element to the way I teach this course. Now, it began with back when I was first teaching this course, I was afraid that I wasn't going to give you enough information for you to pass the practical assessments at the end of the course. So I allowed students to come into the practical with a handwritten notebook that had the elements that you felt were important to take that exam. Well, over the years, I had many students tell me that handbook came in very handy and that they were going to keep it and continue adding to it as they moved into the workforce. And I actually had one student that was in the workforce that actually held up his notebook, or he brought it in to a class and held it up and said, "This is my notebook for the one I use in my job. Can I use it?" And I said, "No, you have to create notes for my class." And he was really cool about it. But that proved to me that a handwritten notebook with the notes that you think are important for that notebook to be able to be successful in class and then later when you're in a work environment is important. Now, what does that mean to your grade? If you don't want to take handwritten notes, then it's only 2.5% of your grade. I'll tell you how to earn 100 points. Take 10 pages of notes. Now, those 10 pages, that notebook, I don't tell you what the size of the notebook is. So it could be as small as this. This isn't a notebook, obviously, but I don't have an example. Or it can be a traditional 11.5 by 8 by 11.5 notebook. What it can't be is 10 sticky notes. Okay, I had a student try this, right? No, 10 sticky notes. If you have 100 sticky notes, we might be able to get credit for this, but 10 of these does not count. So it has to be a notebook that you can take notes on, not a couple sentences. And at the end of the semester, I ask you to give me 10 pages of your notebook. Now you can send, if you have some half pages, you might want to send me 11 or 12 pictures. But if you have 38 pages, fantastic. That's really going to help you. But you only need to send me a picture of 10 of those, and I want you to send it to me in a single Word document. So you're going to take notes all semester by hand, and then at the end of the semester, you're going to take 10 pictures with your smartphone or however you take pictures, and you're going to drop those 10 pictures into a Word document, and you're going to send me that, and it's worth 2.5% of your grade. I don't evaluate what notes you took. I don't say these are bad notes. No, it's whatever you think is important for the class. I'll give you those 2.5% for the handwritten notes. Really critical that you start that at the beginning of the semester and you don't try to take 10 pages of handwritten notes at the end of the semester. It kind of defeats the purpose. By the way, I allowed, when we meet in person, if we met in person, I allow you to have that handwritten tech notebook at the assessments. But since we meet only online, you don't have to, I mean, you're going to use the notebook, you're going to use the internet to get help. It's not a problem, but they kind of, do you need a handwritten tech notebook for taking a test in person? If you take Cheryl Smith or any other network teacher, they do not allow that tech notebook. I am the one and only person that allows you to have a tech notebook that you can put your own notes in. So after you finish taking courses with me and you go on to Cheryl Smith for your Cisco 3 class, please do not tell her that she should allow a tech notebook like Don Lafond allows, because then it becomes a problem because she'll come to me and say, don't do that anymore. She doesn't mind. She knows I do it, but I don't want students complaining that she should also do it. She has her own way of teaching. She thinks it's critical for you to memorize this stuff. I just think it's critical for you to know where to find this stuff and to memorize the easy stuff. Graded discussions. Our first graded discussion is this week, and I made a video about how to do the graded discussions already, and I'll post that into the classroom. I'll briefly show that to you when we get over to our classroom. Lab activities, here it is. There's 51 real and simulated lab assignments. To add up to 79 includes all the discussions and the assessments and everything else. So there's 51 real and simulated assignments. We're only together 16 weeks. So you can see that we're going to have multiple real and simulated labs each week. Packet tracers, I've already explained that you must log in. I'll show you where to download Packet Tracer when we get to the classroom. Real lab instructions. These are NetLab, or if we were in a real laboratory. Now, I'm going to show you next week when we meet again, I'll show you how I grade NetLab. There are no NetLab assignments due for you this week, so I am not going to give you your NetLab sign-in and password, your login and password this week, because I will have additions and people will drop this class before you have your first NetLab assignment, and it's a pain if that happens in NetLab because it's just a pain. So I wait until I submit not attendance grades, and then once that happens, I'll send you your NetLab credentials. Module group exams. This isn't a group exam that you can work with other people. This means that there are multiple modules, multiple chapters. These are multiple choice tests. Now, I want to say something about multiple choice tests in an online class. If you go to ccnav7.com or if you go to Quizlet, you will find all of the answers for the entire course. From the beginning of the course to the end, everything is online in Quizlet and ccnav7.com. Or it might be ccv7.com. Now, I can't stop you from doing that, and I also can't tell if you do it. But I can tell you this. If you just go to a test bank online for this class or any of your other classes, and you just look up the question, find the answer, look up the question, find the answer, look up the question, find the answer, A, B, C, you're not learning anything. It is not going to help you with passing the CCNA exam and getting your certification and making $50,000 to $100,000. It's not going to help you do that. It's going to help you fail when you go to an interview and somebody asks you a technical question that you should have known based on your taking this class. It's going to fail you when it comes to taking further classes after this class, that you should have known the material. And those assessments, they're to ensure that, or to check whether you know the material. It doesn't help you to take the answers off of those sites that have all of the questions. Please don't use them. Now, do I dislike Quizlet? No, I love Quizlet. Quizlet is a fantastic product. I'll tell you where it's useful to me. If I take a class that's in person, I can go look at what questions I can expect to be on the final exam or on the chapter exam. And I can study those questions in addition to reviewing the chapter. I'm not telling you that Quizlet is a bad product. It's just a bad product if you use it to actually answer the questions on the test when you're taking the test. Then it's horrible. But if you use it to get ready for a test and then you don't refer back to Quizlet, then that'll tell you that you actually learned the content. I can remember during my undergrad, there was many exams, especially in my legal. I took a law class, and I studied all sorts of stuff that was not on the test, and I didn't study anything that was on the test, and that was awful. I wish Quizlet was around back then, and I would have aced that. I only got 2 B's in my entire undergrad, and one was in law. And to this day, I'm not a fan of law. Anyways. So that is my point about Quizlet. Please do your own work and don't use those online. I give you 2 hours to look up the answer. The NetAcad has it set up for 1 hour and 15 minutes, but I give you 2 hours because I'm okay with you looking up the answer in Cisco. I'm okay with you looking up the answer inside of our NetAcad classroom. I'm okay with you looking it up in your notes or in those books that I showed you. I'm perfectly fine with that, as long as you're not using question, answer, question, answer. If the question is about switch port security, and there's 3 different types of switch port security, and you can't remember which one's which, and you go to Cisco and you read about the 3 different types, and then you answer the question, that's educational, that's teaching, that's learning. I'm okay with that. But if you just go to find the answer in Quizlet, it's not helping you. Please put your whole effort into this class and you will be rewarded with a high-paying job. There are 3 course assessments. Right after midterm, there is a subnetting, proctored subnetting exam. That's probably the most challenging thing in this entire course. Subnetting, if you had a software, if your A+ software teacher taught you Cisco subnetting, or just subnetting, not Cisco subnetting, then you should send them an email and tell them thank you. When I teach hardware, I don't spend a lot of time on it, or at least I didn't the last time I was able to teach an A+ course. I've been teaching Cisco now, only Cisco courses, for more than 4 years. But when I taught some of the other classes, like hardware and software, the A+ classes, I didn't teach that much. I said, oh, your Cisco teacher will teach you this. Well, that really was a disadvantage to those students, because the students that come into this class already knowing how to subnet really have an advantage over those of you that don't know how to subnet. I will provide videos, and I will teach subnetting, and there are labs, and NetAcad goes over it. But it's so wonderful when you already know how to do it. That subnetting, when I took my Cisco 1 class, even though I've taught for 17 years, when I took my first Cisco class, I had never even heard the term subnetting. I don't teach it in the 1060 course, 1100, any of the hardware classes. I hadn't taught before I started teaching this. Anyway, so I was at a disadvantage because my first Cisco teacher was horrible, and read the book. He was just a bad teacher, and he didn't want to teach. He just wanted to get paid for being there, and that's how he went about his course. There is plenty of NetAcad work, including pictures, lots of reading, like a book would have, 35 animations, 36 videos, 12 interactive activities, 80 check your understanding quizzes, 10 syntax checkers. That's where you learn the commands and you get to actually try them out. And I really like those syntax checkers because although you don't have to give them to me, it's really easy to follow the directions in Packet Tracer when it tells you to do these commands and it sets up SSH, for example. But the syntax checkers inside of the NetAcad, it teaches you the commands, but then you have to type out the entire commands in the syntax checker. And I find that that's really helpful to learn the commands, because if you don't do that, it's really easy to forget them. But if you have to use your brain to remember what you just read and you get through it, then you'll be better when you get to the Packet Tracer. I promise you it is worth doing those syntax checkers. I do them myself whenever I take a Cisco class. And anyway, so we got lots of content inside of NetAcad. I'll show you that soon. Our grade is a percentage basis because there's 51 real and Packet Tracer labs. I've told you about this. That's worth 40% of your grade. I know it says 400 here, but you guys know enough about math that you can figure that's 40% of 1,000 points. Cisco Feedback and the Tech Notebook, this is where you get that 25 points for the Tech Notebook. Discussions, this is the 10% for the discussion. There's 13 discussions. There's 3 assessments. The assessments are worth 20% of your grade. And then those multiple choice module group exams, they're so easy to cheat on. I just make them worth 10% of your grade, because that's like 1.5% each. And that's because all the answers are online. I'm not going to give you a big percentage of your grade for something that you can just, some of you will just download because you don't want to work hard in this class. F and N, I, repeating the course. I'm here to make you successful. 23 students are in today's presentation. I want 23 students to get a C or higher in the course. Later in the semester, somebody's going to email me and say, I've fallen behind. What can I do to catch up? My response every single time is do the work, right? You put in the time, the effort daily to catch up. When you fall behind a couple weeks, 3 weeks, then you're caught up. You get COVID in a 16-week semester and you're out of commission for 3 or 4 weeks. I'll work with you. There is a late penalty, but I'll work with you to get you caught up in this class. But you need to do the work. You have to do all of those, whatever it is, all of those 79 assignments to get a C in this class. I do want to tell you of the labs, wherever labs is, I don't have it written in here, but I do, what does it say it is? Here it is. There's 51 labs. I actually drop 5 of the Packet Tracer labs, the lowest 5 grades out of the 51, because it is such a big percentage of your grade. Sometimes you just can't figure it out and you submit a Packet Tracer and you get a 23 on it and you spend hours on it and you're frustrated, then at least know that you get 5 freebies. Now, if you ace all of them, I've had students at the very end just skip the last 5 labs because they've aced the course. I don't, up to that point, I don't recommend that, but I've had students do it. So it makes sense to work hard on all of your labs, but know that you do get 5 grades that are dropped in the labs, okay? Okay, and what else? Lots of college resources, tech help desk if you're having problems with your Fscj or email or password, something like that. That's your Fscj help desk. Here, you don't really have access to help with the technician. I'm your technician. As I mentioned earlier, NetAcad gives this program to colleges for free. they do not have a help support that you can call and talk to. They're not like Cengage that answers the phone in 5 minutes and can help you with anything. They're not like that at all. If you have a technical problem where you can't get something to work, you're going to post that in the help discussion forum. Your fellow students are going to say, yeah, I had a problem with that too. And I'm going to realize that it's a problem with the assignment itself. And then I'm going to contact tech support, and I'm going to, I have to interact with them, and I have to say, hey, this lab, I'm getting students that can't, the highest grade they can get is a 93. And then they'll respond back and they'll tell me, oh, that's a known problem. We'll do whatever you have to do. Also, occasionally I'll have a student that's taken this course before and has dropped this course. And when that happens, when they go in to take one of the assessments, it'll say that the activation is expired. That's because this NetAcad has your activation from the previous course. It transfers over into this course. And unfortunately, sometimes I cannot cancel your previous class activation. So it'll say that it is, but just contact me. If you've taken Cisco before and the activation says that it's expired, it's probably because your previous class's activation expired, and I have to contact tech support about that. All right. You'll forget about that, but if you have a problem with activations, just reach out to me. So here again is the, this doesn't show all the assignments, it just shows you what module we are going to cover each week. So you want to, some students work ahead. That way, if they work ahead and they review the content, then they can ask me questions during the presentation about what they didn't understand. You can also just show up to my presentation and get my presentation and then go do the work to reinforce what I say and to fill in all the blanks. Another option to supplement both your CCNA, both your NetAcad and my presentations is to go to YouTube and watch some of the presenters that present this information online. For example, I really like Astrid Carnici. He is a fantastic presentation, and he knows way more than I know about networking. He's a CCNP teacher, and as he teaches the concepts, he doesn't assume you know anything, like the first teacher I had in Cisco that was horrible. What this guy does is he actually explains things as he goes, and he'll even walk through a couple of the labs with you. So there are some presenters on YouTube that are just fantastic. If my presentations aren't enough for you, or if you want to go deeper, that's what I did. I watched Astrid Carnici's presentations before I went in and listened to Cheryl Smith's presentations, and everything made perfect sense. And when I didn't understand something, I asked her because I was confused about the concept, and it was a wonderful learning experience. So if you have the time in your life to watch an hour video before you watch my hour video or come to my hour-long presentation, then I highly recommend Astrid Carnici. There's other guys out there like Jason Johnson. He teaches on a lower level than me, so he's very simplistic. So if he's even simpler than I am, I think I go in depth on a lot of stuff that he just like touches on, but he's a really good teacher. So if you're really at the beginning of networking and you want a simple introduction to the concepts, Jason Johnson, awesome presentations. And he made to let you know, he made his videos while he was teaching, kind of like the first time I recorded these videos. Well, the first time I taught, I didn't record. I didn't have the confidence to record until about the third year. And then I started recording these videos for when we went, probably last year, I recorded them in class. And then this year I've recorded them on WebEx, and I've gotten pretty good at the recordings, although they do go on and they do ramble around in circles. It's just what it is, okay? So I highly recommend those YouTube videos. One more thing about YouTube videos as a resource, all of the packet traces that we have in this class, there's somebody online that walks you through those packet tracers. That's the only way I was able to get through Cisco 1 the first time I took it. I took it a second time with Cheryl Smith, No, I took it a second time as an instructor, and I realized that I didn't really learn much by just letting the people on YouTube walk me through all of the packet tracers. Now, I would have failed that course if I had just been relying on that teacher because he was awful. Did I say that already? Anyways, I would have failed that class, but fortunately, I had somebody on YouTube that was able to walk me through all of the labs, and I was able to submit everything and pass the class with a B. Now, in this class, I don't recommend that because those videos are fantastic for one thing. If you're doing a packet tracer lab and you're stuck, you don't understand what the assignment is asking you to do, but or you do it and it's not right and you keep getting an error message or it's not letting you go forward or you're not getting the points. Go to YouTube and look up one of the people that walk through the labs. Now, I personally like the Peruvian. He's a guy that speaks Spanish and English, and he goes through all of the labs in both Spanish and English. The English part tells me what I'm missing. The Spanish part allows me time to actually do it. And he doesn't just go through the steps and assume I know stuff. He explains it as he's going through the presentation of the packet tracer. So if you're doing a packet tracer and you get stuck, open up YouTube, search for the packet tracer name, and then find somebody that you like, the Peruvian guy. I can't tell you off the top of my head what his name is. Yeah, I haven't done it in a while. And then watch his presentation, but just jump to the step you're currently on. Or watch from the beginning to that step and then push pause. Then do whatever it is you were doing wrong, or fix whatever it is that you were doing wrong, and then start doing it yourself again. You may get to the end without needing the Peruvian guy to help you again. That's how you learn, by actually touching. That's kinesthetic learning. Some people learn by watching, some people learn by hearing, some people learn by doing. If you're doing, if you actually hit like typing the keys, then you are doing. If you're just following along instructions, but you're a key pusher, then if you're just doing what the book says and you're not actually thinking about what you're doing, it's not going to help you to learn. So watching this guy do the steps and just following what he's saying, you're not going to learn as much as if you actually do the steps yourself and have to think about it. All right? Okay, so that is a whole lot of information. Let's go. Let me go ahead and stop this presentation, and because it's getting pretty long, and I am going to stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing. So you should be back to me again. So what I just covered in that, I don't know how long we've been talking, but we just covered was an introduction of myself and an introduction of a couple of the assignments and our syllabus. I'm going to stop the presentation now, and I'm going to start it again. And that presentation is going to be on our class layout and the Chapter 1 material, our Chapter 1, Module 1 PowerPoint. So if you are watching with me live online now, 23 of you are, and I appreciate that, hold your questions. And for a moment, I am going to open up a Q&A before I go into the classroom itself. If you are watching this video after the recording online as a recorded video, maybe even next semester, who knows, then please ask your questions in the help discussion forum, and I and your fellow students will help answer those questions. My name is Don Lafond, Professor Don, and it's been a pleasure to help you to learn this material and the layout for the course. I look forward to an awesome 16 weeks and to help you learn.